your usage of Buildertrend. We have a limited time early bird discount available right now. So if you go to the website, buildertrendu.com/Dallas, you'll see the limited time pricing there. Depending on when you're listening to this episode, it might already be gone. So as soon as you listen to it, go check it out.
It's about a third of the price.
Hey, that's good.
Go. And you can register there. So more information on the website.
Awesome. Well, great. Check that out, and we'll dive in here with our guest. On this episode of The Building Code, we've got 2 interviews with winners of the 40 Under 40 award from Pro Remodeler magazine. We're always proud of our clients' hard work, and we're pleased to see that about half the group being recognized this year are Buildertrend clients. The 40 Under 40 award is given to young industry professionals who have a stellar reputation for their innovations and accomplishments. According to Pro Remodeler, these individuals are the industry's future leaders and are the future of the industry itself. First, we'll have a conversation with Justin Shipp from Meridian Design Construction, based out of Ventura, California. And then following that, we'll be talking with Charlie Schloegel from Schloegel Design Remodel in Kansas City, Missouri. Lots to discuss on today's episode, so let's get started with Justin Shipp.
Hi, Justin. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Tom, why do we have Justin here?
Justin is the recent award winner of the 40 Under 40. So congratulations on winning that. And I think also there's another award that you guys won.
The Remodeling Big 50.
That's awesome.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a very big deal.
Thank you.
So I've heard of the Big 50. What actually is the criteria? Is it just a cool company doing cool things, or is it revenue, or what is it?
I think it's a multitude of things. You send them like a client list, and then they use Guild Quality to interview all the clients on the list and get feedback from how you're doing from a customer service standpoint. They review all of your project photos and your website. And I think one of the things that helped us is we do something a little different than most remodeling companies, in that we donate 1% of revenue to local charities, typically environmental charities, just to kind of offset the environmental impact of construction in itself. And so I think that helped us.
Well, that's awesome in its own right.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And you've got a nice little environment to protect out there. You're based out in Ventura, California.
We're based out in Ventura, yep.
Serve the surrounding areas there, like Ojai.
We do Ventura, Ojai, Santa Barbara, Montecito, yeah.
Beautiful area out there.
Yeah, it is.
Nice place to live.
So tell us about, we always ask everybody this, tell us about your story. What's your company like, size-wise, employees, things like that? What do you guys do?
Sure. So we're a small company. Right now it's just 3 of us. We should do around $2 million in revenue this year. We've been around for 15 years, but the business really didn't get good until I brought my now wife on about 4 years ago, and she kind of helped implement better systems and processes. And that's when we started messing around with software like Buildertrend and getting more documented processes and better ways to do things so that we could have a better client experience.
Awesome.
So was she your girlfriend or just an employee? When you
she was my girlfriend. Yeah.
Okay. Because I didn't know where that story was at. Like my now wife.
Right.
No, okay. I didn't just hire him.
Yeah.
It's a different, interesting hiring practices there.
You know? And a creepy boss.
Yeah. That's funny.
That's good.
So you said 15 years ago, was it your business? Because if you're 40 under 40, I'm trying to carry the one here. That means you started the business when you're
25 when I started.
Wow.
I've been kind of in the industry my whole life. My dad was a plumber. So, I mean, I was digging trenches for him. He would always make me do the worst jobs. But when I was like 10, I was on job sites. When I was about 24, him and I went into business together as general contractors. And we just we butted heads a little bit as fathers and sons do, especially when the son's in his 20s. And I was like, I'm going to show you, Dad, and went out on my own. And that dumb decision kind of led to some good things.
There you go.
Yeah, we talk about that leap all the time.
Yeah. It's interesting because you said you did business a long time without kind of, sounds like, real good systems in place.
Correct.
So things were working though, because obviously you were still in business.
They were kind of working.
Okay.
But once we started learning, once we started getting educated on how this business should work through guys like Michael Stone and Remodeler's Advantage and things like that, we started to learn better ways to run things.
Yeah, and we talk about that all the time. Like, that's one aspect of it, is to have the knowledge of how I should run it, and then you realize, well, I need something to hold all this information and then look at report. Like, you need a vehicle for it, right?
100%.
Yeah, and that's where Buildertrend and systems like us come into play.
When we started, Buildertrend was just a way for us to schedule jobs and communicate that schedule to clients. That's really all we used it for. And as we've been using it, I mean, I still don't use all the features in Buildertrend because I'm just trying to, we try to just roll them out slowly and learn new things, master something, and then move on to the next thing. So we're still not using all the features, and it is so integral to our business that I could not run a day without it.
That's awesome, dude.
That's really great.
We just like being a part of, just a small part of success with companies like yours, quite honestly.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's really cool for
It really means a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are accomplishing that. It's crazy how I feel like every week I get an alert that there's a new feature that just rolled out. And it's like, whoa, that's a feature I can totally use. It's not like, oh, you're just rolling out features to roll out features. It's stuff that you can tell that people have given you input that are in the industry and that, know this stuff, and customers have given you guys input, and you're rolling that stuff out.
Yeah. So I just listened to one of our podcasts, and on the podcast, I think I said, like, hey, we should ask everybody how they got their name of their business. And we have yet to do that since. That was like 10,
so we did a good job remembering that.
So I want to ask, how did your name come about?
Meridian Design.
Yeah,
right?
Where'd that come from?
So it's kind of a funny story that takes a couple weird turns. My dad and I's business was called Craftsmanship because my last name is Shipp, and it was clever. And I'm like, how am I going to come up with something that good? So I started looking for an thesaurus for this is back, before I was using the internet for that kind of stuff.
Sure.
In a thesaurus, and it's like the best it was either pinnacle or meridian, means the best. I was just a silly kid who didn't know what he was doing, and I picked Meridian. Turns out the place that I was born, which is Mammoth Lakes, California, the street that I was first brought home to where we lived was Meridian Boulevard, and I didn't find that out until about 10 years later. So it was kind of a roundabout, random coincidence.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
That is a cool story.
Yeah, so. I was thinking I was going to go, I thought about changing at one point to Prestige Worldwide.
Ooh.
I feel like that's a rap group.
I do too.
Like
that's kind of...
It's like a rap label.
Yeah.
It's a Step Brothers reference. Step Brothers.
I recognize that.
Yeah.
Yes, not on.
That's producer Brooke with the reference there. Nice job.
Catalina Wine
Good job, Brooke.
Yeah.
Good job.
Good job, super producer.
I thought maybe with the Meridian 2 thing you were going with like the maritime, like ship, you kept the whole ship thing still. I think it still applies,
Yeah, I didn't even think about
sailing
that.
and needing navigation on the Meridian.
Yeah.
I think it's nice.
So are you guys doing remodel projects there typically, or is it ground up?
We specialize in whole house remodels. We will probably start doing some ground ups. We had a couple big fires.
Oh, that's right. Is that
the last couple years? So we had one here in Ventura where we lost, I think, 1,500 homes. Yeah. And then there was one in Malibu last year that we lost, another 600 or 700. So building is crazy. We're starting to get inquiries on new home stuff, but we have not started into that yet.
So that's super interesting. I bet there's a whole group of construction companies there that have really never done ground up construction because ground was never available, right?
It was super slow. There was only a few builders here, and a lot of them were like building spec homes for sale. And now a lot of the remodel companies have had to transition into building because there's just so much of it.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of homes there, homes that were built decades ago that definitely need whole house remodeling. I mean, the house costs a fortune, but it looks, it's dated for sure, right?
Yeah.
That's what's so crazy about that area. And then you got to come in and you got to gut it and kind of restart, but you keep the bones of the house. So
yeah, there's a question. So I've heard it's insanely like the building permits and like that red tape is crazy there. Is that true? Like yeah. So unique to your area, like how much longer does it take to do a remodel than like say in Omaha, Nebraska?
So just the planning and permitting process, we're doing one right now in Santa Barbara that took over a year to get to construction.
Crazy.
So, took a month or two to do the planning and drawings and all that stuff, and then the permitting process just takes forever.
Yeah. And the other thing I heard is that there's so many environmental laws there, like that you have to do like what? Like you have to like test the soil and like maybe do a bunch of extra like construction stuff just in sort of like that foundation-y type stuff, right?
Yeah. We have to do all that stuff. And then we also have to do construction waste recycling. All of the construction waste has to go and get sorted and recycled. And I think that's starting to happen in a lot of areas though.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and you've got California, they just passed, I think, a law about requiring solar to be on all new construction, right?
What?
Yep.
Yeah.
So you have to have solar?
When does
January
that,
1st
of next year?
Solar on all new construction. And I think in a couple years they're going to start adding it to remodels too.
Yeah.
So we already have laws that you have to have low flow toilets.
Sure.
And you have to have. I mean, the energy requirements here are the biggest, hardest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So,
like the low flow toilets, but that also goes to like shower heads. Like the gallons per minute has to be super low, right? Like,
we can't get a lot of stuff because a lot of fixtures are not California compliant for water usage, and so we can't get a lot of stuff. They just won't even ship it to California.
Yeah.
So you're a small company. I would assume you're doing the sales then.
Yes.
So I've always wondered this. So how many projects do you like? Maybe you look at it in revenue, but how many projects do you like to do a year?
25 to 30 typically.
Oh wow, that's more than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Jeez. So
We do a lot.
so 25 to 30. Then how many leads do you think you have to manage in a year then to whittle down to those 25?
So we aim for a lot of people say that industry standards around closing around 33% is a good closing percentage. We probably get, of the leads that come in, just like raw leads that come in, we probably deny 30-40% of them just because it's not for fit right off the bat because they don't have the budget or whatever.
So we talk about that a lot. There's a qualification process in this business. You have to do, right? Super important.
You have to have.
Or you're just chasing things.
Well, and then there's also, the component is there's some nightmare clients out there.
Right.
And you have to have kind of we have what's called a red flag system where we have a list of red flags. And if they get more than one or two red flags, it's a no-go.
I want to dive into this.
That's super interesting. I think our the other fellow builders and remodelers would love to hear this. So
yeah,
I was just going to ask you like, okay, yeah, a nightmare client, but like, how do you identify that? And you guys have throughout the years, you've just sort of built this list of things. And it's one or two of those, and then we're just see you later, right?
Would you mind sharing some of those?
So I've built it, and then I've actually talked to other guys because and we kind of recently had one where we missed some of the red flags because we weren't paying attention, and we liked the project, and it turned into a really stressful thing where I was losing sleep over it. Some of the red flags, they fired their previous contractor.
Yeah, I've heard that.
That's a huge red flag. That's a huge red flag because 50% of the time it's because the contractor was not that great, and 50% of the time it's because the client had maybe probably unrealistic expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
If they have an air of like entitlement and superiority, that's always not great. Mm-hmm. Another big one is I would do this myself, but I just don't have the time. Ooh. Well, that means that they don't really respect you or your time.
Sure.
You're just a piece in a puzzle for them, and it's not going to work. We're looking for people that
too. In software. Yeah. It's unbelievable how many construction companies would say that to us.
Yeah.
I would build this myself, but I just don't have the time.
Right. Yeah. Build the software. Yeah.
We have 500 employees to build this software.
Yeah. That's just they don't respect what we bring to the table if they're saying things like that. So
yeah.
That's a really cool concept.
That's a good list.
The red flag list.
Yeah.
It's weird because you got to kind of keep it on the down low and go. You can't really tell people,
right?
Hey,
exactly.
Right. Yeah, you didn't make the cut.
Red flags here.
Right. Yeah. That was going to be a follow-up question. So, how do you exit? How do you?
So we'll typically send a letter that says, "Hey, we really appreciate your inquiry. While we're excited about the prospect of doing business with you, at this time we're going to have to deny it because we have this, and this going on, and sometimes it is just a scheduling thing where some project came through and we have to move on. That happens often too, where it's just like this one is not a good fit, and so we're just going to move on because of scheduling. But sometimes it's because the client just seems like they're going to be too difficult to deal with.
So let's go back to that. So 100 leads, 30-40% just qualification out the door.
Yep.
So then you're like, 60 leads.
And so we want to book 33% of those 60.
So we talk about this a lot. So do you try to set a meeting? Is that like your first next step is like, hey, let's meet and let's talk about the project? Or or what is?
So the initial thing is about a 25 minute phone call. And that's, my wife does that. She just goes through, she knows budgets so well that she can listen to them talk on the phone and go, here's what I think that's probably going to cost. And she gauges their reaction. Is that something they can work with? Is it not? So we can kind of screen that way. And then there's a job walk and initial estimate. Typically, this is a more recent thing. We're charging for that. We charge about $150 to $250 to go on the job walk. It just gives us a little bit of, are they serious or not? And if we know they're serious, they're going to pay that. So we'll go do the job walk, and then we'll build them out an initial budget, what we would expect to pay for a project like this, and what we've charged before for this type of project. It's usually pretty accurate. It's within about 5% of what we usually end up with, unless the architect changes something major. And then once we go to a design phase, then we have a design fee we do a design fee that's fully refundable if they go through with construction with us. So the design fee would be 3% of the project cost, and then that's fully refundable if they proceed to construction with us. If they don't, we keep it for our time.
Right.
And in that phase, we start kind of specifying materials and getting it tightened down, and then we submit a new estimate based on what the actual stuff being used is. And that goes to contract.
And then you go to contract, then you go to production.
Yep.
Right. Cool. So you're shooting for 33%. That's I swear to God, Josh Kaiser, our VP of sales, and I did a class yesterday at BTU about that, and we were like basically 35%.
Yeah, 35 is what
that
was the number you threw out. Yeah. So it's right there.
That's great.
So a lot of people say if you're missing that number, if you're not getting 33%, you're either price is too high or your sales process isn't good.
Yep.
So that's what we typically find.
That's awesome. So do you guys offer financing at all?
We don't, but you guys released the Rocket loans the other day, and we were just thinking about maybe offering financing, because we do get inquiries about it, and I've done some research on it and never found anything that I thought was reliable. But I think the trust that we have in everything you guys have done kind of pushes it to, well, this is a no-brainer. If we want to do this, we can do it through you guys.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Because it's just so interesting that, like, remodeling, it's like if I was doing one and they offered me 0% for like 12 months, like, why wouldn't you do that?
Right.
And then I would spend more too.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It does free the client up a little bit cash-wise.
Yeah.
So
Good. More to come about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pumped on it. So we're going to do some more research on that and figure out how we can implement that.
That's awesome.
We'll make sure to put all this stuff in the show notes too, like the red flag stuff.
I know. We now know why you're 40 under 40 and Big 50.
Yeah. You have proven yourself worthy of this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time and joining us on the podcast today. And we'll make sure we put in a link to your Instagram so we can see those pictures of you winning the award.
Perfect.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we got to get you up to Omaha sometime. Get out of that terrible weather you have.
Yeah.
I agree. It just seems so temperate and nice there.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful. All right, Justin.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man.
All right. What a great conversation with Justin. I'm very excited to transition now into our next guest who's joining us again, a 40 under 40 winner. Let's talk to Charlie Schloegel. Charlie is the co-owner of Schloegel Design and Remodeling based in Kansas City, Missouri. Welcome, Charlie.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
Hello, Charlie. We were just talking. You've been a Buildertrend client for 5 years now, and we are really happy to see that you and a handful of others were on the 40 under 40 list this year.
Yeah, well, it was an honor to be chosen, and even an honor and a surprise. I'll say that.
Yeah, and as I said previous, like, it's kind of an honor just to be under 40 at this point, right?
Yeah, exactly. We got about 4.5 more years.
There you go.
Great.
So let's talk a little bit about your team. So can you give us kind of an insight into your business?
Yeah, the company was started in 1980 by my father, Jake, and in 2018, my partner, Chris Peterson, and myself bought the business from Jake. Chris had been with the company for just at 20 years, and I had been involved with the company since 14. I'd actually worked under Chris on several projects, so it's good to now be on an equal playing field. There's a lot of times I moved piles of lumber for him, I think just to move piles of lumber. So we in 2018 took over, and I started it with the company back in 2011, and came in to focus on developing and building our handyman service, and took that from myself and one team member, Kirk Thomas, to now we have a team of 15 people on our handyman service that are involved in sales and estimating and production. And Kirk has risen to the ranks of production manager for our handyman service. So we're a full-service design, build, remodeling company. We have a handyman service, and we have a paint department. We're a team of 70 individuals. We just crested 70 team members as of last week, and those are on. We have people on staff ranging from carpenters, lead carpenters, tile setters, painters, other trades, to project managers, production managers, 2 degreed on-staff architects, a drafter, and several designers, 12 designers, and then our administrative team. So
that's quite the team.
Yeah, we've grown from when my dad was in the basement, just him and being a general contractor, to now offering those 3 different lines of services, and have a showroom here in Kansas City, Missouri, that we do a lot of our selections and design development in for our design build projects, and use a lot of trade partner showrooms as well. So
it's really unique that you guys have those 2 divisions. I have to imagine, as you grow as a general contractor, especially in remodeling, you have thoughts of, it probably makes sense for me to bring my carpenters in-house, or my painters in-house, or start a handyman division, because there's so much of that handyman work out there. What are some of the concerns that a business, or that you guys had before you sort of went all in on a handyman division or even a paint division?
Well, our main focus at this company, our company mission, is to provide the ultimate client experience, and it's something we talk about on an hourly level, a daily level. We're not just putting it in writing and forgetting about it. So one of the most difficult things to maintain with growth is to ensure that we're continuing to provide that as new people come on board that may not be assimilated yet into our culture. But we work hard to bring them up through orientations to make sure they know what the ultimate client experience is in the opinion of Schloegel Design Remodel, and how to achieve providing that.
You've won this award, which is fantastic. What's life been like afterwards?
Well, there was a parade down Main Street, a few weeks ago. You guys missed it. You're not far. I'm surprised I didn't get the message up to Omaha.
Yeah.
I
saw
walk
the spotlights.
In and dinners are on the house. I got a thing to do at Arrowhead on opening day. So a lot of big stuff.
Yeah. That's good.
So,
has it?
But no, it has been. It's been fun. It's been fun to share. We've put it out on our social media. We celebrated it here at the company and talked about what it was and what we're doing. We do quarterly all meets where all the team members from the company get together and talk about success stories. So we'll be doing that in our next all meet since we haven't had one since this. But it's positivity out there. Again, in the world we live in today, where you can find bad news just as quickly as you want it. It's good out there that's going on. It's people connecting with people. In my 40 under 40, I was big on, remodeling companies are all about the people. This is not a product that a machine can manufacture with repetition. So there's a lot of human dynamic and, as I mentioned earlier, communication that goes on. So it's just been fun to share it with people and talk about it. And then, of course, a pat on the back is always fun. And I don't, I'm usually not the one that's, I try to give more pats than I get. So it's been nice to get it. And, hear people saying that they're proud of the achievements that we've accomplished in the year and a half that we've taken over. So it's been all good things.
Yeah, that's really cool. You keep mentioning or alluding to your culture there, and I think that seems like something very important to you. So that is a very hot topic. Whenever we have Buildertrend University each month, we have about 75 companies that come to our office and walk our hallways and see sort of the culture we have, and they ask us that question. Seems like you guys have a good culture there. Are there just a few tips that you could give other companies that are listening to who maybe want to build their culture so that they can keep the people they will like longer, and they can deliver that right message to every time and that great quality of customer service? I mean, I guess what got me to ask you that is like that quarterly meeting idea or that quarterly outing. Like that's something that's kind of simple, but people don't think about. Are there other things that you guys do?
Well, I think it's important for any company to identify what they want their culture to be. And it is hard to put that maybe into words, but, using a words or a phrase and then using the vision and the mission and setting goals that are in line with your culture, and then measuring those. Did you achieve those goals? Are you working towards the vision and the mission, and measuring that? If you do those, if you can set those goals, if you can set a mission and a vision, and you can measure toward it, I think you can start to develop a strong culture that is, that can be disseminated through you to others. And I would like to take the credit for that, but I would say, my dad and the team members before me really laid the groundwork for that. It's my and Chris's job and our team members' job to continue, carrying that on and disseminating what that culture is throughout our company as we continue to grow. So it's a culture. To me, the culture is something that we hear quite a bit when we are talking with team members about what retains them here, or why they considered joining this team, is because they hear that we have a strong culture. We get referrals from our current team members for their friends or family or people that they know that want to come be a part of our team. So, it's very important here. We talk about it regularly. So
yeah, that's great. Sounds like the theme is it's not just something you set in a company playbook. You got to continually speak to it and work on it, right? Absolutely, yeah.
It's got to be brought up on a regular basis. Again, I mentioned to you our mission of providing that ultimate client experience. We talk about that. I mean, again, hourly, and we talk about what it means, and are we doing that? How are we doing that? So. And we talk about, we have our internal and external clients. So when we say ultimate client experience, we're not talking just about our clients that are hiring us to do handyman, painting, or remodeling. We're talking about our team members that are, on staff here, and our subcontractor partners, our vendor partners, to make sure that, they're buying into what we're doing and how we're doing it.
That's great. Yeah, we've mentioned it before on the podcast. Plan, measure, adjust. You got to make sure everybody's roped in on the vision of the company, and it sounds like you guys are doing that, doing a great job of that. So congratulations to you guys. We wish you continued success in your business. We'll wrap up here with you. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today and joining us.
Thanks for having me, and I look forward to talking with you all in the future.
Is there a 50 under 50? Like, why do we stop at 40?
The list just gets longer as you go.
Quite honestly,
60 under 60, 70 under 70. Yeah.
I just feel like
don't tell Chris that. He'll try to apply for like 60 under 60.
There you go.
We'll keep it from Chris.
Yeah, we won't tell him. Don't forget to check out our show notes page. We'll put a link into your website and to the article from Pro Remodeler with the award in there. So congratulations again, and thanks for your time today.
Hey, thank you all, and best of luck in the future with Buildertrend. It's a great thing you guys are doing. So thanks for bringing some technology to the industry. So
Thanks,
Charlie. Appreciate you.
Love what you heard? Don't forget to rate and subscribe to our podcast so you can hear from more guests that will benefit your business. Also, please check out our show notes page for more information on what we discussed on this episode. You can find it at buildertrend.com/podcast. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on The Building Code.
Appreciate you.